Poco X3 Pro. The best gaming phone 2022. Phenomenal performance. The Xiaomi Poco X3 Pro is essentially an updated version of 2020's excellent Poco X3 NFC. It's almost exactly the same as that phone, in fact, but slightly rebalances its specs to include an even more powerful processor and a few other upgrades, while compromising a touch on the camera side. The X3 NFC was our favorite budget phone of 2020, and the Pro is a better phone in enough areas to make it an easy recommendation too. It might be more polarizing than its predecessor though, doubling down on that phone's strengths without improving on its weaknesses. More than ever, this is a phone about pure power, delivering the best performance you could ask for at the price, but rivals are often slimmer, lighter, and take better photos. Design and build. Design is one of the areas where essentially nothing has changed from the original X3 NFC aside from a new set of colors. That means the same set of problems. Unfortunately, the X3 Pro is big, with a 6.67 inches display, it's bulky, at 9.4mm thick and 215G, and it's pretty ugly with an enormous Poco logo emblazoned across the backside. Display. The screen is a pretty clear strong suit here, so long as you're happy with the fact that at 6.67 inches it is pretty large. This is an LCD panel, rather than OLED, with an FHD Plus resolution of 2400 by 1080. It supports a 120Hz refresh rate however, and 240Hz touch response rate, both of which will hold immediate appeal for anyone who games a lot on their phone. Specs and performance. Now we're getting to the meat of what makes the Poco X3 Pro what it is, the core specs. The X3 Pro was announced alongside its chipset, which debuted here, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 860. This is a souped-up version of the Snapdragon 855, which is the chipset that powered most of the biggest flagship phones in 2019. Camera. Speaking of, the cameras are the only part of the Poco X3 Pro that's a fairly clear downgrade from the X3 NFC. The rear setup is broadly similar, but differs in the details. You get 4 lenses, but 2 of them are both 2MP, a macro lens and depth sensor. The other 2 are a 48MP main camera, down from 64MP, and 8MP ultrawide, down from 13MP. Battery and charging. The 5160 mAh battery here is pretty considerable, and plays a part in how hefty the overall phone is. In benchmarks it actually lasted a few hours less than the X3 NFC, despite identical battery capacity, perhaps the trade-off of a more power-hungry processor. Software. The X3 Pro ships with Android 11, running Xiaomi's MIUI 12 skin by default. Xiaomi hasn't promised any specific number of system updates for the phone, but based on the company's track record it's likely to receive the next 2 Android version updates. Price and availability. The Poco X3 Pro starts at €229/€249, which gets you 6GB RAM and 128GB storage, but I'd recommend you opt for the €249/€249 model, which includes 8GB RAM and 256GB storage.